After nearly 3 decades of secrets, all was revealed in just a few minutes in the federal courthouse. After he signed a plea deal, Danny Heinrich would explain what happened the night of October 22nd.
And now to a chilling confession in a Minnesota courtroom, to a murder mystery that has haunted that state for nearly 3 decades. A man finally admitting to the 1989 abduction, assault, and killing of an 11-year-old boy.
Last week, authorities unearthed Jacob Wetterling's remains, ending a mystery that has long haunted the state. The gunman confessed he drove Wetterling from St. Joseph to Paynesville, where he molested the boy and murdered him.
According to reporters in court, Heinrich told the judge, "I was driving on a dead-end road. I noticed 3 children on their bicycles with a flashlight." At the time, Jacob's brother described how the 2 of them and a friend were held at gunpoint.
He told us to put our bikes in the ditch and lay down.
Heinrich says he drove away with Jacob, handcuffing him. The boy asked, "What did I do wrong?"
After almost 27 years, Danny Heinrich was willing to talk, and we had to grab the moment.
The 53-year-old told police where he buried Jacob's body in exchange for not being charged with the murder. Heinrich still faces 20 years in prison after pleading guilty on the pornography charges. The Wetterlings agreed to the deal to bring an end to their tireless search.
It was only about 30 miles from the Wetterling house, and law enforcement was able to confirm that it was him through dental records. Sadly, on September 3rd of 2016, the family had to make the heart-wrenching statement to the public that Jacob had been found.
Jacob, I'm so sorry. It's incredibly painful to know his last days.
Today, after 27 years, Patty Wetterling finally learned what happened to her son, Jacob.
For us, Jacob was alive until we found him.
Obviously, they wanted answers either way, and I'm sure they weren't like completely set on him still being alive. At that point, they must kind of know, but I feel like as a parent, you'd always have that hope, and having that hope just crushed for you would be so hard, especially after 27 years of searching. Now, this part is going to piss a lot of you off. Trust me, I feel the same way as you. This is really, really frustrating. Because Danny agreed to a plea deal and showed them where Jacob's body was, essentially allowing them to solve the Wetterling case, he was not charged with Jacob's murder. Let me repeat that again. Not charged for Jacob's murder, even though he confessed to doing it. He was only sentenced for 1 count of child pornography. This charge does carry a maximum prison sentence of 20 years, but 20 years, that's it? Only 20 years after sexually assaulting at least 2 kids, killing one of them, and he could get out in 17 years if he has good behavior. However, this plea does not let authorities seek civil commitment as a sexual predator. Therefore, there's a good chance that he will never actually be free. So how did this actually happen? I'm sure a lot of you are wondering. It's very odd because it's not like Danny could have planned this out. The chances of the boys being there, it was completely, random. They hadn't had these plans. It's not like he was stalking them and planning this whole thing. He just came across them. So why did this happen? What happened? He said that the night he killed Jacob, he was driving through the streets without any clear idea of what he was doing or where he was going. And that's when he came across the 3 boys and he saw that they were riding their bikes with flashlights. He said that he parked his car, put on his mask, and waited for the boys to come closer to him.
Abducting Jacob at gunpoint, handcuffing him, and sitting him in the front passenger seat of his car. Jacob crying, saying, "What did I do wrong?" How he took Jacob back to Paynesville, 30 miles away. Heinrich took him to a gravel pit outside of town, removed Jacob from the car, removed his clothes, and took him to a grove of trees where he molested him.
And he said that he was able to avoid police by listening to a police scanner, which any of you can do. Anyone can listen to police scanners. I don't think a lot of people know that, but you can download an app on your phone and listen to like your local police. He heard police sirens, which had nothing to do with him, but he thought that they possibly could be coming for him, and he got scared, panicked, and he randomly decided to shoot Jacob in the head.
Jacob eventually said, "I'm cold, take me home," and started to cry. Heinrich choked up as he described how he saw a patrol car come down the highway. Heinrich told Jacob to turn around, raised a revolver to Jacob's head, but the gun jammed. Jacob was still standing. Heinrich said he pulled the trigger a second time, and Jacob fell to the ground. Heinrich walked back to his home, the Plaza Hotel in Paynesville, returning a couple of hours later to bury Jacob in a shallow grave. Returning 1 year later, discovering the remains were partially uncovered. He could even see Jacob's jacket. He moved the bones and clothes to a farm across the highway where he dug a trench 2 feet deep. And that's where Jacob remained for nearly 27 years.
There is a small silver lining to this story. In 1994, the Jacob Wetterling Act was passed. This was the first law to institute a state sex offender register. And after Jacob's abduction, Patty and Jerry formed the Jacob Wetterling Foundation. This is an advocacy group for children's safety, and in 2008, the foundation became the Jacob Wetterling Resource Center. And the foundation is dedicated to spreading education and awareness about sexual predators, how it happens, who takes them, and what we can do to prevent it. I feel so badly for Jacob's parents. I think the worst thing about this is knowing that they spent 27 years looking for him, and then finding out that he died that night. He died on the day he was taken, and no one knew. So sad thinking of being an innocent child, just riding your bike on a summer night with your friends, and like having your life just take such a detour like that because of someone's selfish impulses, that they just randomly decide to do something like this. It's pretty shocking and upsetting. But anyway, I hope you guys found that story interesting. In the comments, I would love to know what you think about this bizarre sentence, the fact that this guy basically got away with murder. And, you know, let me know your thoughts on the whole thing.